Before we move forward, it's essential that you've watched the first part of this content. The link is available in the card above. In it, we explore the most common fears that hold people back from creating content, and how these blocks show up in everyday life. Without that initial context, many of the reflections and strategies we'll share next may not have the intended impact. Shifting your mindset. Changing your mindset is the first and possibly most important step to transforming the way you relate to the fear of creating content. It's not about eliminating fear entirely, but about reframing it. Fear doesn't have to be a roadblock. It can be a sign that you're stepping out of your comfort zone and into a space of growth. When you shift your mindset, you turn fear into fuel. From fear of judgment to the opportunity for connection. The human mind tends to fixate on worst-case scenarios. We imagine harsh criticism, people laughing at us, public rejection. This self-protective mechanism keeps us stuck, trying to avoid anything that might bring discomfort or embarrassment. But when we create content, we're actually opening doors. It's a bridge between who we are and those who can benefit from our experience. Every time we share something authentic, we make space for others to relate, to feel seen, and maybe even transformed. Yes, judgment might happen, but so can connection, and it's often far more meaningful and powerful. From perfectionism to permission to mess up. One of the biggest traps for content creators is perfectionism. The belief that you can only share something when it's ready and flawless leads to creative paralysis. It puts us in a loop of self-criticism, where every tiny detail becomes a reason to delay or abandon an idea. But perfection is an illusion, one fed by unrealistic comparisons to what we see online. When we adopt a mindset of experimentation, we create space for trial, for improvisation, for natural growth. Making mistakes stops being a failure and starts being part of the learning curve. It's through the mess that we find our style, our voice, and our authenticity. From focusing on results to focusing on the process. It's natural to want results, likes, views, new followers, but when that's your only focus, the creative process loses its ease and joy. Anxiety creeps in, and comparison to others' performance gets louder. Shifting the focus to the process means valuing the act of creating itself, the learning involved, the joy of sharing, the discovery of new ideas. That's where true connections are born, solid skills are built, and genuine satisfaction is found. The process is what builds consistency, and consistency is what creates real, lasting impact over time. From fear of not being good enough to confidence in being unique. In a world where everyone seems to have it all figured out, it's easy to feel like you're falling behind. But the truth is, no one has all the answers. What truly sets someone apart in the digital space is the ability to be authentic. Your story, your perspective, your lessons, all of that is one-of-a-kind material. You don't need to compete with the best. You just need to trust in your originality. People connect with what's real, with those who show their imperfections, who share the behind the scenes, not just the highlight reel. Your experience, no matter how simple it may seem, could be exactly what someone out there needs to hear. This mindset shift doesn't happen overnight. It takes awareness, repetition, and courage. But it starts with small acts. Posting even when you're unsure, showing up even after criticism, hitting record even if you're not sure it'll work. Transformation begins when you act in spite of the doubt. Acting before you feel 100% ready isn't recklessness, it's bravery. And courage is the root of all meaningful creation. In the end, shifting your mindset means changing your relationship with yourself. Less pressure, more compassion. Less comparison, more self-worth. And it's from that foundation that creativity grows, with more freedom, consistency, and purpose. Tactics to overcome fear. Overcoming the fear of creating content doesn't require total bravery or an overnight transformation. What truly helps are practical, accessible strategies you can apply in your day-to-day life. The goal isn't to eliminate fear completely, but to learn how to live with it, weakening its power through consistent action and the gradual building of confidence. Fear is often a sign that you're getting close to something meaningful, not a warning to turn back. Creating is an emotional process, and creating publicly comes with the weight of judgment, comparison, and exposure. But it also carries the promise of connection, purpose, and transformation. Start small and safe. Instead of trying to create something big right away, start with simple steps. Record short videos just for yourself. No pressure to post. Write drafts without thinking about perfection. Practice in front of the mirror. Record voice notes on your phone like you're explaining something to a friend. These small rehearsals are key to taking the pressure off performance and allowing you to get comfortable with the language, the camera, and your own voice. Small movements build both emotional and practical safety. When you create without the pressure of being seen, you create space for authenticity to emerge. If this content has resonated with you in any way so far, leave a like, so this message can reach others who need to hear it just like you did. If you have an experience to share, feel free to drop it in the comments or in our channel community. By sharing our journeys, we create a space of value and prosperity together. Thank you so much. Set small, achievable goals. A common mistake is waiting for the perfect inspiration or that magical moment when everything aligns. That moment rarely comes. Instead, set realistic, consistent goals, like one post per week or one short video per month. The predictability of these goals reduces anxiety, makes it easier to commit, and over time creates rhythm and flow. Small goals break inertia and build habit, and habit is more powerful than motivation. Starting small and staying consistent is far better than starting big and burning out quickly. Create a creator persona. Imagine a version of yourself that steps into the role of a content creator. This persona can be an amplified version of who you are or a reflection of your creative voice. This symbolic separation between the one who creates and the one who observes helps you manage self-criticism and external judgment, making the creative process lighter, more playful, and more structured. Your persona acts as a creative shield. It's like putting on a costume that gives you permission to be bolder, more expressive, more daring. When you step into the role of your creator persona, it becomes easier to act without so much internal censorship. Gradual exposure. Your brain responds best to challenges taken step by step. Start with lower visibility, lower risk formats, like stories or posts in private groups. Over time, move on to feed posts, longer videos, or even live streams. This layered exposure teaches your nervous system that showing up isn't dangerous. In fact, it can be rewarding and empowering. Gradual exposure also gives you space to experiment with different styles, formats, and narratives. You might be surprised by what resonates and by the genuine responses you receive. Surround yourself with positive stimuli. Your digital environment directly impacts your emotional state. Follow creators who share vulnerabilities with authenticity, the behind the scenes, the failures, the lessons learned. In the early stages of your journey, avoid consuming overly polished and performative content. It can feed perfectionism. Instead, surround yourself with human, unfiltered examples. Too many perfect references can trigger creative blocks and feelings of inadequacy. Real creators inspire more than untouchable icons. And remember, you can be that example for someone else too. Seek safe and constructive feedback. Before sharing something publicly, try showing it to someone you trust. This step works like a friendly audience rehearsal, offering validation, suggestions, and emotional safety. Choose someone who understands your journey and can contribute with empathy and honesty. Feedback doesn't have to feel like judgment. It can be a kind mirror that helps you see where to grow. And even constructive criticism hits differently when it comes from someone who genuinely wants to see you succeed. Make content creation part of your routine. Repetition is a powerful ally. The more you create, the more natural the process becomes. Creation stops being a big, intimidating event and starts becoming part of your everyday life. Like any habit, consistency lowers mental resistance. What once felt scary turns into something familiar, predictable, and manageable. By weaving content into your routine, you ease the pressure of expectations. You begin to create with more lightness, curiosity, and consistency. Content becomes an extension of your thoughts, not an event that demands extraordinary preparation. Reframe fear as a sign of growth. Fear and excitement are closely linked emotions. That knot in your stomach before you post something? It's often not a warning of danger. It's proof that it matters to you. Accept fear as part of the journey, not as a sign you're not ready. Real growth always comes with discomfort. That discomfort is a sign you're expanding, breaking through internal limits. Every time you take action despite fear, your comfort zone stretches. And over time, what feels scary today becomes familiar territory tomorrow. Overcoming the fear of creating content is a journey, not a leap. And like every journey, it's built one step at a time. The secret is to keep moving, even if slowly, even if shaking, even if your voice trembles and your heart races. Because every action taken with fear is another brick in the foundation of your creative confidence. Creating with fear is creating with courage. And courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to move forward with fear walking right beside you. Make sure to check out our follow-up video, where we dive even deeper into one of the key topics from this one: the importance of not letting other people's opinions hold you back, and why the best time to start doing what you truly want is right now.